my thoughts on the Super Bowl halftime show, and did Nicki get screwed over? Welcome back to another episode of This Week in Music. Today I want to talk about the Super Bowl halftime performance. As you all know, the Super Bowl took place on Sunday where the Rams defeated the Bengals 23-20, but I want to recap the halftime show. It was announced that the halftime show was going to be headlined by Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, and Kendrick Lamar. When I heard this announcement, I was excited because I was a fan of all artists, especially Uncle Snoop. So back to the halftime show, Snoop Dogg started off with the next episode, and during his performance, he did pay tribute to his mother who passed away recently. I thought that was very cool. Next, Dr. Dre performed California Love, and I was disappointed that there was no Tupac hologram that was going to say, "I don't bail fresh out of jail, California dreaming. As soon as I step on the scene, I'm hearing hoochie screaming." I was waiting for that, but Dre let me down on that part because he said he was going to bring a special guest, and everyone, including myself, was expecting a Tupac hologram. Turned out that special guest was none other than Curtis 50 Cent Jackson as he performed in the club. All I felt in this moment was nostalgia, as 50 did a good job, and I don't care what the fat shamer said, let 50 be. Next was Mary J. Blige, as she performed her biggest hit, Family Affair and No More Drama. Mary showed out as she looks great for her age, 51. Fun fact, this was her second time performing halftime at the Super Bowl. Her first was back in 2001 when she was a side act for Aerosmith and NSYNC. Next was Kendrick Lamar as he performed Alright. For him, he was giving me flashbacks on his Grammy performance he did in 2016. A performance I called one of the greatest Grammy Award performances of all time. Also with Kendrick, I was glad he didn't perform Humble. I guess he wanted his segment to keep up with the Black History Month, but I'm just glad he did not perform Humble. People only know him about Humble, and Kendrick had other hits, you know. Next was Eminem, and he did his pump-up anthem we all know and love, Lose Yourself, which was nice. He was also joined by drummer / R&B / hip-hop and one half of Silk Sonic, Anderson .Paak. And last but not least, Dre and Snoop returned to perform Still DRE, and that was the halftime show. While I did enjoy the halftime show, I was kind of let down as Dre only focused on his 2001 era. While the 2001 album was good, he didn't perform none of his works from The Chronic, preferably Nothing But a G Thing, because that album was a classic. And as for Snoop, he didn't perform none of his works from Doggy Style, an album I called a masterpiece, preferably Gin and Juice. All in all, this was a good halftime show. And one more thought before I leave this topic behind. How epic this halftime show would have been if Dre would have brought out Ice Cube, MC Ren, DJ Yella, and Rezza. Next, I do want to talk about the comeback of Nicki Minaj. Last week, Nicki released her comeback single, Do We Have a Problem with Lil Baby. While the single itself was decent, I felt like it wasn't Nicki. It didn't feel like a Nicki Minaj track. The video was solid though. Nicki then teased Bussin', and I thought that song was better than Do We Have a Problem. But this week when the charts came out, it debuted at number 2, right where I expected. But the numbers it produced was what surprised me. It was the number 1 songs in terms of sales. In fact, it sold about 100K in a week. However, despite this, shady stuff behind the scenes prevented a number 1 debut. Not a Mirage fan, but I believe she got screwed over. I say this because behind the scenes, sales numbers from her 100K week were taken away. I believe that Billboard did not want Nicki to have another number 1 hit. Nicki only has 2 number 1 hits, and the number 1 hits she's had were flukes. A Doja Cat remix that she was quickly put off, and a 6ix9ine song which was one of the worst number 1 songs of all time. But in the end, Minaj told fans to celebrate her latest accomplishment, stating that even though the song wasn't number 1, she's number 1. And on that note, I'm going to end the episode right here. Tell me what you think in the comments below. And to close out this week with a quote, I don't like to gamble, but if there's one thing I'm willing to bet on is myself. A quote by none other than my fellow Virgo, Beyonce Knowles Carter. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.